So this is going to be brief because Mike ran over, which is very unlike him. So we'll keep it as quick as possible. So really excited today to talk to you a bit about what we've been working on in mobile and context at the edge. So Tealium was one of the very first CDP tag management solutions to market with a mobile SDK. And to make that work, we took a decision at the time, which was to basically take what we did on the web and transfer it into mobile. So anybody who had the ability to configure Tealium on the web could do exactly the same in mobile. And it worked great. Worked really well for many years and continues to be very popular to this day. The reason being that there's a very low barrier to entry, but it kind of uses a crutch in the background, which is a hidden web view that the user never sees, but it's used to process all of that JavaScript and send data to various vendors from the device. This is still really flexible, but it does have the drawback of being a slight performance hog. So what we wanted to give you was the ability to do everything you can do today with Tealium IQ, but give you a much more performant and, frankly, better solution. So we decided to completely re-architect the mobile SDKs from the ground up, and we came up with Tealium Prism. We chose the name because the idea is that we take in a single clean stream of events that your developers are sending from the app, and we pass that off through Prism to multiple different endpoints, one of those being Tealium Collect, but also things that we can do on device, which is really something that we're leaning into. And this gives you a really easy way to track your events. It gives your developers much lower effort and means the device has to do less work. So Prism has a hidden sort of Swiss Army knife feature as well, which is that although we've removed the web view and the JavaScript element, you can still run small snippets of JavaScript extensions to do data manipulation. So you still get all the flexibility that you had before, but it runs in a much more performant way. That's completely optional as well. So if you don't need that, you can actually remove it. So if you don't want any JavaScript in your app, that's totally fine. So onto the really exciting thing. So the Digital Velocity app is built as a showcase of what we can do. And if you haven't already got the app, please do scan those QR codes and go to the app stores and get them. So if you like to now get out your phones, anybody who has the app will, if they go to their agenda, depending on your device, you may see a little tab at the top that says AI at the edge. What this is doing is, if you click the button, if you don't have it, it means you don't have a new enough device, but we're at about 40% of people in the room have a capable device. Mike said 48, but yeah. He likes to exaggerate. Yeah. But yeah, that's all real-time stats driven by Tealium. We're about 40, 60. And what this is doing is taking the information from your agenda, the sessions that you've selected, and pushing that through Gemini Nano on Android and foundation models on iOS. And it's coming back within a few seconds with a real-time recommendation, and you'll see the actual recommendation, the reason that it chose those devices, sorry, those sessions. So we're taking all of the inputs from the events and the context that we have on the device, running it through the AI processing, and then giving you back real-time information. And hopefully there's a video about to run. Let's see. Oh, OK, there's the video. So for anyone who doesn't have this, this is how it works. So we're going to go into a session. This is working on session ratings. So please do go in and give this session 5 stars and give us some great feedback. Any of you who do have the AI at the edge capable devices will see a session recommendation pop up within a few seconds. And what we're showing as well is how to integrate these experiences in a seamless way. So you have to understand that it does take a few seconds sometimes for this processing to happen. The advantage is it's not having to go off through an expensive data center. It's all happening locally on the device, but you do have to build your experiences around the fact that it's taking maybe a few seconds to process. But the big advantage is that there's zero cost to this. It's all happening on the device. And we just wanted to show you a little preview of what's coming. And this is going to be available to everyone with Tealium Prism within Q2. And I'm now going to hand off over to Dave.
All right. The AI at the edge as well. One of the things that it's perfect for is this concept of burst volume that comes in, burst traffic, something like the Super Bowl or the World Cup, right? Some gigantic event where you have hundreds of millions of people show up at the door. I mean, you start building up these AI pipelines and you have this AI everywhere mindset. You're running, that could be a lot of compute that you have to scale up in a moment's notice to be able to handle this. AI at the edge gives us just this beautifully, infinitely scalable engine because every customer brings their own compute resources. Sorry, go for it, Dave.
Oh, no, thank you. Yeah, that's a great point. And I think in addition to that, it also allows us to do things like run really lightweight models at the edge, right? And so like what Craig was walking through with web or with mobile, we have some of the same and similar capabilities on web, but different technology. And like my phone is an iPhone 11, not quite up to the par here. So sorry for dragging your stats down. But I think that proves the point that technology is not necessarily evenly distributed amongst everybody right now. So while mobile might be a little bit further ahead in what it can compute and what models it can leverage, web is a little bit further behind, but coming close too. But with that flexibility, we get the ability to start to select some models. And so on the web, what we can do is we can pull in really lightweight models for like classical ML examples, or we can leverage basic LLMs as well in a much more smaller capacity and much more purpose-built to do things and offload some of that server capacity like Mike was talking about, but also doing it in a way that allows us to do it more purposefully in the moment and doing some of those lightweight tasks and reserving the more heavy compute for the server. And this is an example of what a configuration would look like inside of TIQ. We have options to select our own models, so you can start to go through and see, am I going to choose a classic ML model, so I want to do some intent scoring, or do I want to start to generate some text on there, or do I want to structure and unstructure some data? Different models for different purposes, and we want to provide that flexibility. Additionally, you all have very robust tech stacks that are trained on your own customer data. Well, bringing your own models to the party is what we want to provide as well. Bring those models, we'll host them on our CDN, we'll load them into the browser, data never leaves the device, it's all there, it's all right there in the moment for you to take advantage of. We allow you to customize your prompts to dictate where it loads, so you can be really precise with when and where you're acting on this. And then to take that a step further, we know that you're all using AI to interact with your customers, but so too, like we discussed this morning with Jeff and everybody else up here, customers are bringing AI to the party as well. And so 4,700% increase in web traffic just for agentic purposes, right? And so I think that's that 7% that Jeff was talking about, and I think that's going to continue to grow. And I agree that that's going to be way larger than 28% in the near future. And we're going to see that continue to shift and continue to change. But the way that customers are using this is going to change as well. We see it at about half of our customers are using agentic shopping, and primarily for research-based purposes. And when we think about what those research-based purposes are, we can see that maybe I'm not ready to go ahead and make a full purchase on a website. And so here we have Claude running in a co-browsing experience, where I see that the industry changing and going in that direction more so. We start to see humans and agents both interacting together and in the loop together, right? It takes the it takes that trust factor for me as a person shopping and going through those interactions and brings that to me in the forefront. I'm not letting an agent just go run amok and book me a flight anywhere it wants to at any point in time. I have the ability to control it in that moment. But for the brand, also benefits there as well, right? You don't have to rebuild a site in a silo of an LLM provider, right? And bet on which one's gonna win. We talked about that not necessarily being a best case scenario, and I agree. We wanna have a more distributed LLM future, right? So we wanna be prepared for this. And that future is largely predicated in protocols. And we talked about MCP protocols this morning again, and there's a protocol for web that's coming out and coming to fruition called WebMCP. And not necessarily to get bogged down in the exact specifics of a protocol, but we can think about them more broadly in the sense of, I need a way for me and my agent to talk to you and your website and your agents. And how can we do that cleanly? And how does that handshake look like? Well, I would like to define my tools. I would like to define what my JavaScript functions are, so that when I'm going to search for my flights, I have the ability to just define that directly in my, my protocol. I define a markdown file for my check account balance, or for my search for flights, or anything of filters, anything in between, right? And so what we have here is we create this loop of website and human and getting those interactions back. And that sounds great, right? We have this way more seamless interactions between agents and the website, but that comes at a trade-off as well. And that trade-off is largely in data tracking and those gaps. So if we go back to the example we were looking at about booking a flight before, user comes to alaskaair.com, right? They sit there and they say, now they ask Claude, go ahead, book me a flight. Here's my dates, here's my time, here's my criteria and price, go find it for me. And then what we as a brand are gonna see is we're gonna see add to cart, a checkout flow. What happened in between? What were they looking for? What was their buying decisions? We don't have any of that intention anymore, right? All of that's disappeared because you have protocols handling all of that behind the scenes for you. You have JavaScript talking directly to agents and no interactions on the site. There's no actual click happening. And so these protocols need to be tracked. And that's where we're going to take it in the future, and we're going to get to the point of agentic tracking. And that's the future of, we take the Omniture example again, this is that evolution, right? This is the future of tracking. It's no longer those button clicks. It's button clicks and those agents working together. And we pull all of that context together, and then we help you understand what are agents doing versus what are humans doing. Segmenting those personas, even under the same user as well. How do we understand what a common user task is versus a common agent task? And how can we specialize and change and personalize those experiences to suit those agentic experiences? And that's
it.
My spiel.
Good show.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.